Yo, welcome to the Table Talk podcast, where we sit down, pull up a chair, and we get started. This podcast is designed to provide you packed full of information to help you with your training, nutrition, lifestyle, and well-being, where we interview myself through case studies to give you lifetime experience. And then we also interview high-performing individuals or other career-focused people who are looking to make changes in their lifestyle, training, nutrition, and well-being. And you can literally extrapolate information from their experience. So let's pull up that chair and let's go. Yo. So welcome to episode 1 of Table Talk, where we go into a little more detail about the intention, the introduction, and the process of how we kind of got here. So if you're listening in, thank you so much for tuning in, showing an interest in myself, Karl McKenna, the man behind Table Talk. But it wasn't just me. It started with Ian Stevens, a gentleman who runs a bed and breakfast called Ocean Blue. It's ranked number 4 in Australia. Woo! So super exciting for him. But this podcast, the idea and concept that came behind it is that I wanted to create something that had case studies. So I'm a personal trainer in the city of Sydney, work with a lot of people. We help them lose weight, help people build muscle, help people get strong, injury prevention. And we wanted to do case studies on what we've done with people, from improving people's sleep, helping them with nutrition, cyclical dieting, and just really provide a lot of resources and information to help people, because it's not the one size fits all, but maybe you might find something interesting out of the case studies. But then again, not everyone wants to hear me talk. So that's where we'll definitely get a lot of special guests or career-focused individuals. So not just trainers. Of course, me being in the fitness industry, we'll start with a lot of trainers, business owners, career individuals, doctors, and really just tapping into all of these other professionals and really just finding out what makes them them. Like, what's their routines? What's their mindset like? What do they do when they're low? What do they do when they're on a high? It just makes them them. And you might find inspiration from that certain person. Because some people like loud people, some people like quiet people, softly spoken people. A lot of people like Kate, my partner, a lot more than they like me. The joke is that if we ever broke up, she would get all the friends. And that's just because she's an amazing person, but she has a really caring energy. But for some people, they don't like that. So the idea is that this podcast is designed to bring a collective of people together, where I get to interview them. So I personally like to learn, evolve, and grow. And by speaking with these people, get to pick their brains, ask them questions, and really just pick it apart. In a perfect world where they'll give me 2 hours of their time, we'd like to break each episode into 3 segments of the person. So them themselves, who they are. Second is their career, how they got to where they were, and also more about how they operate. So, they might be someone who's into arts and crafts, but they run a personal training business, or they run a hedge fund, or they're a dentist. So then we get to go into case study of, well, what if you had this person show up? You'll see, boom, they'll switch. You're like, oh wow, it's a completely different person, but that's just who they are and their career. And you really just realize that we are all people at the end of the day. So bringing that all together, because the story of Table Talk, because I've been thinking about this for months. I've written it down 2022. At the beginning of the year, I was like, yeah, I'll do a podcast. And I just kept thinking about how to make it work. How would I do it? How would I run it? And my partner, Kate, at the time, she got the mic. So if you're listening, I'm pointing at a mic. It's called PreSonus. She got all the setup. She does sound healing. So look up True Sound and you'll see what she does, which is amazing. Happened out of COVID. But for me, it was just still not quite 100% like, this is it. So I was playing with the name. I was thinking the Vitruvian Health podcast, like, yes, I run a personal training company with Vitruvian Health, but again, like I said, I wanted a collective of everyone who's a high-performing individual or a career-focused person that we could pick their brain. So it wasn't just about health, the health industry. that we can get a lot from it. So it was contemplating, and I hadn't resonated with the word. So like Vitruvian health is a perfect depiction of man or the person, and looking at areas of their life from training, nutrition, lifestyle, and mindset. And from there, we literally help to change people's lives. But from a podcast, I was like, mm, what is it? Like we all know we should eat better. We all know we should move and we should sleep the 8 hours and we should do X, Y, Z. But in life, the idea is that we have discussions, we learn, we grow from it, like I do with a lot of mentors. So I didn't think the Vitruvian podcast was the right name. I thought of espresso time because I like espressos. Yeah, it just nothing resonated. Like espresso time was there's lots of them out there. So fast forward to the end of 2022, at Ocean Bed and Breakfast with Ian Stevens, Kate, and a few of his friends. And we were just talking about, what we've all done, where we want to go. And he led us a story where he was in America and he was looking at this big table, and it was of how all the presidents came together. And what they would do is they're behind closed doors, they would talk. And he just said, imagine the history, what conversations have happened. In the world that we live in, there's things that we know and there's things we don't know. And it'd just be interesting to have been a fly on the wall and be part of the conversation that happened at those tables. How did they shape the economy? How did they resolve the wars and XYZ? And he goes, I'd really like to make a play on the different parts of history called Table Talk, because obviously they would discuss, strategize, plan, and all these things would happen behind closed doors, no influence, no input, just people talking, coming together, and having aha moments. And I literally was sitting there, whole mouthful of nookie in my mouth, and I go, oh, that's it. And Ian goes, what? Kate's like, huh? And I, swallow the food and I go, that's it. That's the name. That's the podcast name. And Kate goes, oh my God. Nookie in your mouth? No. Table Talk, where all serious conversations start and end. And, we were like, that's great. So pen to paper, did it up. My team, Vitruvian Health, legends that they are, putting it all together. And with that, here we are, Table Talk. So we're all serious conversations start and end. So pulling up a chair and let's get started. So that's the purpose. That's the history and how we got here. So our focus and intention is to bring career-focused individuals to the channel. We're going to chat to them, pick their brains, finding out about who they are, what they do, and maybe a bit of a case study. We'll have case studies with expert trainers and health professionals as well, asking them tips and tricks, and we'll do a few examples so hopefully you can relate. And if you have any questions in regards to health training, lifestyle, nutrition, let us know and we'll lace it into that podcast. So I do hope you enjoy the story of how it came to be, and we look forward to having you listen to the podcast and over the years evolve and grow this to help more people. Enjoy. Hey, thanks so much for joining the episode of Table Talk today. We hope you found some helpful tips and inspiration in staying healthy and fit, even with a busy schedule. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast, stay tuned for our next conversation. Until then, keep prioritizing yourself, your health, your fitness, and we'll see you on the next Table Talk.